Up in the sky, look, it's a comic, it's a podcast.
It's Comic Related's Related Recap. Hey friends, welcome back to the Related Recap. I'm Brant Fowler.
And I'm Chris Ventura.
And we're back with you for another weekly edition of the show to talk comics and all kinds of stuff. We actually have news this time, which I'm...
Oh my god, they listened to us. Thank you.
They did. So, I mean, it's crazy. And of course, you know, we have to kick this thing off by saying it's Superman month officially from DC, and before DC announced it, Comic Related announced it, so... Now you know it's real.
I was gonna say, I noticed that we announced on Comic Related that this is officially Superman month, and then ironically, DC Comics goes, oh yeah? Well, we're calling it Superman month too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, gee, thanks DC.
They're probably like, that's a pretty good idea. We should do that.
And then they'll say they came up with it first, and it was a marketing thing that they waited so long.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm mad. Certain people got books, and I got none. I got a that guy in the Peanuts gets the rock in a bag, and grumble. I'll buy my own books. Grumble.
I got a book. 2 actually, but anyway.
Let me tell you something here, Mr. Fowler. I'll tell you something. Don't make me go Batman on you.
Yeah. So, we're not, we don't typically talk movies and stuff here, but I just have to ask you, are you going to see Man of Steel?
Probably, after I hear good and or bad things about it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I will not be, I originally, when they announced this movie, I said I wasn't going to pretend like it didn't even exist, but due to the awesome trailers and stuff like that, I decided that I'm going to not go to the midnight release. However, I will hear critique reviews about the movie without spoilers and then come to a decision whether I'm going to go see it to like it or go see it just to ridicule it.
Yeah. Exactly what happened with me with Amazing Spider-Man. So. And
yeah, basically the same premise. Exact same premise.
So. Cool. So obviously that comes out next week, so everybody's all excited about that. That's part of the reason that Superman month is going on and everything. But, it's also Superman's 75th anniversary this year. Happened back in April, of course. But, June 12th, as we mentioned last week, is Superman Day or Man of Steel Day.
And as a treat, DC's going to turn Superman back to normal, remarry him to Lois Lane, and we're going to move forward like nothing ever happened. Yeah, it was worth a shot.
Not going to happen unless it happens in Adventures of Superman. I don't know.
I think it sort of did.
Okay. Well, see, there you go.
I don't know for sure. I saw Superman. I didn't see a Lois Lane Clark Kent moment, so.
Yeah. Well, you thought you had that in Injustice, and then she...
yeah, she kind of exploded.
Yep.
Metropolis.
Just a little bit. It rained Lois Lane. We are off on a tangent, I swear. Already. We just started.
It's okay. Tangents are good.
They are. If you can tell, Chris is a little bit tired this week, and I'm actually in a lot of pain.
That's great. Hey, by the way, guys, I'm tired. He's painful. And welcome to the Related Recap.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, even though tired, pain, whatever, we are here for you.
Yes.
Yes.
That, or we're so tired and in pain that we have no idea what we're doing, and Brandon hit the record button. So now we have to go.
It happens, But, no. So we should probably dive into this news since we are so excited about having news.
Oh, we're gonna dive right in. You go ahead and start diving.
But the two biggest news stories we have are actually DC news. So I mean, it's kind of a DC week, I guess. So this first little piece of news, I think they announced it today. Actually, DC Entertainment announced DC2 and DC2 Multiverse digital comics. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the heck is DC2? Well, let me tell you.
I'm asking myself more. What's a digital comic?
So basically, DC is finally, diving full force into digital comics and the different capabilities that they can play around with it. And apparently, this is some kind of new technology that they are going to be the first ones to use, and they're going to be using the first book they're going to debut it on is the digital first title, Batman 66, based on the 60s television show.
Go figure, a Batman book.
Oh, of course. So, as I understand it, and granted, there's just this one press release that has, the base information on it, so obviously nobody's seen it in action yet, but as I understand it, the way this is supposed to work is on these digital comics, somehow, by choosing a certain character in the story, your experience and the expanded storytelling canvas, as they put it, changes. And it tells a multidimensional story through layered artwork and sequences. And you can even integrate action sounds and a soundtrack and, all kinds of different stuff like that. And there's all kinds of multiple options available for each chapter of the book or whatever. So, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work. But it seems like kind of if anybody's ever read one of those choose your own path kind of novels, where it says like turn to page 42 if you want to do this, and it kind of changes the outcome.
I can't read those books. Every time I turn the page, I end up falling out of an elevator shaft. I can't do that, Brant. I'll just end up killing
I loved those kind of books. I had a G.I. Joe one, of course.
I had Goosebumps, and I had, oh God, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I always ended up dying.
I had a G.I. Joe one and a George Washington one for some odd reason. But anyway.
You tell a lie, could you?
Good. If I did, I'd get my head chopped off or something. I don't know. But,
head chopped off?
With the axe and the cherry tree. Never mind. Anyway. I was playing Bioshock. What do you, no, I don't know. But, I wasn't really.
You were playing Bioshock? What the heck? There's no axes in Bioshock.
There's a George Washington that kills you. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, the machine, yeah. Oh, okay, fine.
I'm tying it all together. Stay with me, man.
I'm trying. You're going in a direction I can't follow here.
Well, that's what these stories are going to be like, because you choose one character and it goes a completely different way.
But I keep killing myself in those type of situations.
Then you're going to suck at these comics.
I am, obviously.
So, maybe it's not for everyone, but no, so it's going to start with the Batman 66, and then it's going to expand to all the digital first titles, Injustice, Adventures of Superman, Arrow, all those. Huh?
My question is, and this is a serious note here, how the heck is Injustice still going on? The game's out. The story arc's over.
Well, there's still DLCs being released, right?
Yeah, but I mean, unless they're going to give a full-fledged DLC sequel because of the ending to Injustice, which I'm not going to spoil, there's no reason for it.
Oh, well, okay. Well, maybe the comic ends differently. I don't know. Does it? I'm behind, so.
You're behind. I'm on time, and I'm still not sure.
Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know. I don't know. I enjoyed what I've read so far of it, though. So.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it for you. I'm just saying that it's. I don't know. It just feels. I mean, when they did it last they did a comic series for another video game. They made it a mini series. I was expecting this to be 6 issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, does it say how many issues, or is it ongoing?
I'm guessing it's ongoing, and at some point people are going to get bored and stop reading it.
Well, don't they release it like in chapters digitally first? So it's like, so it's like up to chapter 22 or something like that now, or something like that. I don't remember, but I don't know. Maybe they're, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate.
Elevator shaft.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I guess we have to wait until more details about this are released, or until we get to see like a video or a sample of it to really understand it.
That or put Rob Liefeld on the book. That'll end it.
Yeah, indeed.
Man, I don't know what we drank or ate tonight, but we're definitely, this is going to be one of those episodes. Start playing the trippy music.
What are you talking about? It's been playing this whole time. Haven't you heard it?
No, I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
I have to sit back.
You will when you listen back to it once it's edited. It's not.
I guess I'm gonna have to sit down and listen to this again. I'm missing the trippy.
Yeah. Watch me forget to put it in now.
Yep. That ruins the whole experience.
Yep. Oh well. So I'll let you start with this other DC piece of news.
Oh, okay. We're talking now about Villains Month. Apparently now here's what I'm trying to understand. Apparently each, of the 52 books are gonna have these 3D, styled, covers. Each book actually is going to be $3.99 for the month of September. Now, my question is, there's .1, a lot of people are saying it's gonna be .1 through .4 for each of the books.
Oh, it is. They've released that. Which, heads up everybody, this is going to be the main topic of the Zone 4 podcast this week. So if you want to hear us talk in depth about this, head over there on Friday and listen to us. But, each issue is going to have .1 through 4, and it's going to be weekly.
Now, okay, here's my little problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
$3.99 a month, an issue, for 52 issues. That's 4 weeks.
Yep.
God damn you, DC, you decided to become Marvel.
Worse. That's even worse than
That's worse. Dear freaking Lord, what's going on? 4 issues of each book?
For somebody that collects, and I don't know anybody that collects every single New 52 issue, but if you did, that would be
$1,000!
$829 plus tax for the month of September.
For DC alone?
Yes. That's
I'm
crazy.
Not saying. I'm being honest. I see myself dropping, well, not permanent, just for the month of September. I see myself not buying so many books.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you probably check out the .1s to see if it's worth continuing.
No.
Well, I mean, some of them you will. Surely.
No.
None of them?
No, I'm probably gonna jump into, honestly, I see myself getting Superman, maybe, they're supposed to be one-shots, right? Each book is a different supervillain.
Right.
So I see myself getting every single one of the Supermen, probably Justice League, Batman, not counting I'm not getting all the Batman. Forget, you know how many supervillains Batman's got? Batman has how many titles right now? 5? Forget about the.
Well, I can tell you right now, they have released, and again, we'll go into depth on Zone 4, but they've released Batman and Robin, Dark Knight, Batman, Detective Comics, Justice League, Justice League, Flash.
Yeah, Justice League, Dark Knight.
Yeah, Justice League, Flash, and I think that's it so far.
I think I might get Flash also, but there's just no way. I mean, are you kidding? 52 issues for 4 weeks in a row? I'm sorry, but I'm not rich.
Yeah.
I mean, if they offer a deal like, hey, buy all these books for $200 for the whole month, it's like, even there, it's like, for DC Comics right now, I'm spending little to nothing, and I'm getting almost all the books. There's no way. I'm sorry. I could see myself skipping a lot of Villains Month.
Yeah, it was one thing to change all the titles. It would have been just like the the number 0 month, the origin month, or whatever they called it. Because it was just one issue where they changed everything to a 0 issue. If they had just done that, it would have been fine. But doing
to my knowledge, I thought they were doing that up until
now,
like a couple hours ago. Yeah,
okay.
A couple hours ago.
Okay. So yeah, it's the weekly thing. I can't believe they're going that route with every single book. That's just crazy. That's ridiculous.
I guess they know that people are going to skip around and pick their favorite supervillains.
Yeah, which I guess is kind of smart. I mean, because just like you said in Batman alone, with all the various titles, just looking over the Batman and Robin one, you've got Two-Face, the Court of Owls, Killer Croc, and Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins.
So see right there, I would eliminate the Court of Owls, and I don't think I would want Two-Face. I feel like I've seen too much of him, so I probably would drop him. Killer Croc, I haven't seen him in a while, so I would get that book. And I don't know who you said with the fourth one again.
Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins.
Yeah, I probably would get that too.
Yeah. So, with Flash is the one that intrigues me because of he's famous for his Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's only got a 1 through 4. He should have like a 1 through 10.
Let's see who he does have if they put them out. I don't know. Captain Cold, Gorilla Grodd, Reverse Flash, and
Reverse Flash is definitely going to be the last week of the month.
No, it's the second.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
Grodd is the first, Reverse Flash is the second, the Rogues, which is led by
the whole group.
Yeah, the whole group with Captain Cold is the third, and they've not released the fourth one yet. So
probably it'll be a new supervillain or something. But all of these covers are going to be 3D.
Yeah, every single cover. It's some special cardstock 3D kind of layered effect where you turn it and the images move. There's a
not like the lenticular one.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Huh?
It's gonna be like the lenticular one.
I'm not sure what's that one like.
The Superman Forever cover.
I don't remember.
The one that changes. The motion one.
No, it's not. No, it's not like the hologram covers or anything like that. It's like all the art and the lettering and the logos are all on separate layers. So when you tilt it, it kind of everything shifts either to the left, the right, up, or down.
That's going to be interesting to see then. So this is like the first time they've ever made something like this.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still not paying $3.99 for 52 issues for 4 weeks, but I'm just saying it'll be interesting because I know a lot of people are going to buy every single issue and put it on eBay for like $1,000, $2,000.
Oh yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see who would be smart enough to buy them.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Actually, I wish I had the money to do that. Turn profit.
I'm sorry, but $800 in 1 month for
it's
insane. One shots that I'm sorry, that's not only taking a page out of the Marvel book, but that's like trying to outdo Marvel. And congratulations, DC, for the month of September. You are the official Marvel.
Mm-hmm. And that's not even all of the news. And of course, I don't want to go too deep into this, but the Forever Evil miniseries that also launches in September. So it's not just all these 52 books. There's a new miniseries launching in September.
And the digital books. Let's not forget also the digital books that come out.
Well, the reason I mentioned Forever Evil, though, is because that 7-issue miniseries kicks off a new 52 universe-wide crossover event.
Oh, good night, Irene! Come on!
You hadn't heard about that either?
What the hell? No!
Yeah.
I mean, come on, really? I mean, we've had nice, calm, 20 issues of each series. Yeah, there've been crossovers here and there, but not something that was like, now,
Yep. Universe-wide.
It's screw it. I don't care. I'm not buying all the books. I'm sorry. I buy enough as is. Let them cross every universe they want. Let them have Alan Scott making out with Bunker for all I care. I'm not buying every single book. Not happening.
I'm going to be very curious to see the fan talk about all this.
I thought you were going to agree with me with Alan Scott and Bunker at first. I was about to be like, Brant.
I totally missed what you said about them. I was just focusing on what I was going to say.
Oh, I was complaining and I said that I don't care if they have Alan Scott making out with Bunker at some point.
Oh, okay.
You get the reference with them. Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to you're so wrong. I don't know what you're laughing about.
I'm imagining it now, actually.
I don't want to imagine that.
Oh, no, I'm imagining that being in the news.
Oh, well, yeah. That would be in the news.
Yeah.
But, anyway. So, yeah, that's... It was kind of exciting on the surface. Villains Month, oh, cool. And then you read all the details and it's like, oh my god. Really?
Xbox One.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I mean, how the heck? I mean, alright, you know what? Maybe a universe like a full universe crossover. Maybe it's like you don't have to read every single book, but it all coincides, like kind of like, remember 0 Hour?
Yeah.
It's maybe like that, where if something happens in each of the books that impacts the character, but not not something that like impacts everything. Like you must read every book.
Right. I don't know. This is they're starting to get back into that. I mean, this is gonna follow right on the heels of Trinity War. So they're doing like a mini event and then a whole month of these things, and then they're kicking off a big crossover. I hope we're not seeing a trend start.
We're seeing a trend.
Oh boy. So moving on.
DC, you did it again. I'll save some of my rant for a different time, but at the same time, damn it, DC, for real? After we just said Marvel was doing it wrong and you were doing it right? Really?
Yeah,
really?
It's the exact reverse of that old, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. This is the total reverse of that. Just when I thought I was back in, they pushed me back out.
Yeah, and my wallet's saying, Mm-hmm. My wallet's just looking at me right now going, you ain't touching me.
So moving over to some Marvel news. Carlos Pacheco joins Rick Remender to nuke Captain America.
Yeah, that's great. You know, throw him into Dimension Z, you know, bring him back and then nuke him.
No. What it actually is, it's the, let's see, it is an arc about the super soldier Nuke. So, and
it's not grasping me.
Yeah, and the mysterious weapon minus program. Good Lord, I can't believe they're going back to the weapon programs.
Yeah, it's not grabbing me.
Looks
like I'll be back.
Yeah, they exhausted that with Deadpool. Give the weapon programs a rest, please.
Yeah. I like the artwork though. I will say I saw they in the article that we were reading, they showed the artwork of the book. Mm-hmm. I will say I do like where the direction of the artwork's going. However, I don't like the way the story's going, so I'll probably end up waiting on the following story arc again.
Yeah, I do like I do like Pacheco's take on Cap. So his art style on Cap. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I gave up on the Dimension Z stuff. So I almost said World War Z.
World War Z.
Oh, the Dimension Z stuff. Yeah. So.
Because A through Y, we've already gone through those world wars.
Yeah. I miss Brubaker. Anyway. Do we have any other news?
Honestly, that was the best news of the week thus far. And, and while we're recording this on a Tuesday night. This is going up basically 24 hours after.
Mm-hmm.
So, not much news, but at least there is news. And, obviously with DC, they really want to push this villain month thing, and they're gonna promote the hell out of it until September, because believe me, if people are thinking what I'm thinking right now, which if you people aren't, and you're saying, hey, I'm buying everything, you're nuts. But, that or you're rich, and if you're rich and you're listening to this podcast, there's a P.O. box, comic related, / related recap, / Brant and Chris. You can just leave us some money in that, P.O. box, and we'll use that money strictly for comic books. We'll buy the whole run of the Villains Month.
Oh yeah. If you want to send us money, we'll definitely buy them. Sure.
And if DC for some reason is listening to this and you're still not pissed off at me for saying congratulations, you're the Marvel, if you'd like to send us every single book, we'll review every single one in detail if you like, but if not, then I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Yeah. That would be awesome that would be awesome. If they'd be willing to do that, send us every single one of those issues for the entire month. We would talk about them in depth ad nauseum.
That's two of each issue, though, because I have to get one and Brant has to get one.
So that's what? 400 some odd
$1,600 worth of books.
Yeah, 400 and some odd comics that they have to ship out to us.
Hey, not my problem. They're the ones that wanted to do it this month.
Is that right? It's 400 something. Yeah. Crazy.
That's crazy. That's 52 issues a week.
Yeah.
Plus whatever else is out.
Oh, DC. You wacky kid, you. Anyway. So yeah, that's our news for this week.
That's it. It's basic grievances with the news. It's like, can we please get, okay, let me rephrase what I said last week. Maybe this will help. Cause obviously they're listening. Can we get some news that isn't horrible news that fills us with dread and woe and complaints? Could we get some news that actually makes us go, this looks really good. I will buy this and not have to worry about spending 800 plus change, on all the books.
You want to know something interesting?
Oh, please.
I was listening to another podcast earlier today, it was a bunch of podcasters that were at C2E2 this year.
Okay.
And they were talking about a bunch of random topics, but one of the things they mentioned was that DC had no presence at C2E2 at all.
Had no presence?
No, they didn't have a booth or anything. I mean, some of the creators were there. They did, I think Jimmy Palmiotti was there or something. Obviously, some of the creators were there in Artist Alley. But they had no presence as far as like a central place to go for DC.
They're hiding. They know. They know what's coming. Oh, New York Comic Con. Oh, dear Lord, They better pray I don't get in there.
Yeah. No, they'll be there, obviously. They'll be there in San Diego, but I thought
they're lucky. They won't catch me at San Diego, but they better pray they lock me out of New York Comic Con. I've got words.
I just thought that was interesting that they wouldn't go to C2E2, which is, it's still a young show, but it's a pretty good show, so,
Pray. Pray, DC. Oh, man. Oh, pray. Pray I don't make it in.
Oh. We love your characters, but, man.
We love your characters, but we hate them. Just kidding.
Some of them, anyway. Some versions of them, anyway.
I'll be honest. Okay, the new 52 grew on me. I have nothing against it anymore. But I'm sorry. 52 of your issues for 4 weeks. I'm glad it's not a 5-week month, or else I would cry.
Yeah, see, that's where it comes into a big problem for completionists. Because they're going to go broke. They're going to be selling their house. And I'm a completionist, but not to the level that I'm insane. Yeah.
So,
You know,
I'll stick with Superman. Yeah. That's probably where I'm going to bank on the most.
You know, this does kind of spill into our next segment, though, as we go behind the veil. We kind of talked.
Yeah, we're talking about it right now.
Mm-hmm. We kind of talked about we're talking about crossovers and all that kind of stuff, and what we're going to actually talk about, Chris?
Our tie-ins.
Yes.
Dun 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 dun. Boop.
You think we planned this show or something?
Yeah, you think we actually sat down and talked about what we were going to talk about before we talked about it in front of you guys.
Never happened.
No. Tie-ins. One of the most notoriously dangerous things a comic book company could do, especially when a major event's going on. For example, we talked about it this week on the Dark Avenger live show. Marvel Civil War.
Yep.
There was the main 12 issues, or was it 9? I think it was 12.
I thought it was 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. It's been a while ago.
Yeah. I'm looking it up. Continue.
Okay, so there was 7 main issues, and then there was the tie-ins, which was basically almost every single Marvel book in the Marvel roster.
Yeah, and not to mention, I can't remember if they did Frontline, right? They had like Civil War Frontline, or was it Civil?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
No, Frontline was created also, so there's other miniseries. So, in certain cases, tie-ins are a nuisance. For example, a better example. Gooder. Hey, listen, I've made this word up and it was on a commercial. If you don't believe me, look it up.
And by the way, real quick, it was 7 issues.
Okay. So, another example, or a more recent example, is Avengers versus X-Men. Every Avenger book, every X-Men book was attached to AVX. Did we need to read everything? Absolutely not. You could have read AVX 1 through 12 and got the complete story, but, as Brant made mention, for those of us that are completionists, we must get everything. And that's where you spend about $800-900 a series. And with DC's event with the whole Villains Month, there's a very good tie-in. Well, technically, this isn't a tie-in though, Brant. Each issue is a one-shot for a villain. You don't have to buy it. But if you're a completionist of the whole month thing, then yes, you do.
In a way, it's a tie-in to the whole villain month thing. But in the strict sense, no, it's not technically a tie-in. You're right. Because tie-ins typically are like you have one main event that has like a mini-series, or it has, this certain books that it's taking place in, and then you have all these other tie-ins. Me personally, I preferred the way that Blackest Night did it.
Yes.
In that they created miniseries for each of the characters or whatever, and those miniseries expanded on scenes that took place within the main Blackest Night series.
Yeah, and it also allowed you to skip something if you didn't want to read it.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was like, for example, if you wanted to see more of the confrontation between Mera and Wonder Woman, you could read that miniseries and get that whole confrontation. Or if you were satisfied with what you saw in the main series, you just went with that.
Yeah, I feel bad. That's the one miniseries I regret not getting, was the Wonder Woman Blackest Night series.
I read it.
It wasn't that good? By the laugh, I'm guessing it wasn't that good?
No, it was decent.
Oh, it was decent.
Yeah, it was decent.
Because I know that the first 2 issues she was a Black Lantern, and then the last one she became the Star Sapphire. That must have been so interesting.
I was totally engrossed with everything Blackest Night though, so I'm kind of biased. I loved the Blackest Night. But I mean, to me that was the way to do it, because I don't remember which Marvel event was going on around the same time. as Blackest Night. But whatever they were doing at that time wasn't quite that way. It was like Civil War. Civil War, the way they did it, they, like you said, they had the main Civil War series, then they had Civil War Frontline. And then they had certain issues of all these other titles just stop what they're doing and go to this whole Civil War thing. Like New Avengers, I think it was issues 21 through 25, something like that. So, I mean, it wasn't like they had their own thing. It was like, okay, I'm reading along this story, and then all of a sudden, oh, everything's Civil War.
Yep.
And that's frustrating because
oh yeah,
if you don't want to follow the event, then you're forced to either skip the book that you're reading or read through part of the event and not get the whole story.
And that's the problem. See, a lot of people, like you were saying, are completionists. And for example, let's say you love the Amazing Spider-Man and you don't want to skip out on a thing of Amazing Spider-Man. In the Amazing Spider-Man run, you're going to have a tie-in to Civil War, even if you didn't read it, a tie-in to the aftermath of Civil War, even though you didn't want to read it, a tie-in to every single mini-series that's gone along in the Marvel Universe, even though you didn't want to read it. Mm-hmm. And half the time you're going to be scratching your head going, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
Unless you read the mini-series.
No. And a lot of times, if it's like a lesser book, or if it's, a book that's just kind of involved on the fringes of an event, like, what book was it? During Fear Itself, there was a book. It might have been Secret Avengers.
Yeah.
Whatever the issue was that tied into Fear Itself, that particular issue had nothing to do with anything that was going on in that book. It just tied into this one little scene on the fringes of Fear Itself, and it was such just an out there story. It was boring. It was like, this is a total throwaway issue, and you've taken up an issue of this book that had an ongoing story of its own to tell this story that is a complete throwaway. That annoys me.
Yep. And you gotta love those issues. And that, my friends, is, as they say, marketing.
Yeah.
They have, basically the big two especially, plan out events. And as you guys heard as we were talking before, DC's been very quiet. No events, no big deal. They had the 0 month, and that wasn't such a big deal. It was an origin story. And now, 2 years later, on the 23rd issue, it's actually exactly 2 years that this is happening. Instead of the issue going from 23 to 24, we're getting 23.1 through 4, and it's a humongous event, which is known as Villains Month, and we get tons of books all tying into this event, plus a mini-series, and completionists must buy the whole thing, or else they're screwed. Mm-hmm. And people like me, I don't have $800 and somewhat dollars, so I'm going to be one of the percentage that have to miss out on certain parts of the event, because there's no way in God's green earth I can afford all those books. They should have either been spread out into 2 months and divide the books up within the 8 weeks, or it should have been a point 1 and point 2 at most. At most.
Yeah, I agree. And here's an interesting thing. Speaking of Fear Itself, when that was going on, Flashpoint was going on over at DC. And I actually wrote an article back then, which you're probably not aware of, that was, I pitted Fear Itself versus Flashpoint, just talking about the sheer scope of both of the events. Mm-hmm. Fear Itself, or I'll start with Flashpoint. Flashpoint spanned 62 comic book issues. And that included, like, the main Flashpoint series, which was 5 issues, and then all the other mini-series that they created in this alternate world. Fear Itself spanned 123 issues. 61 of those, which is almost the entire amount of Flashpoint. 61 of those took place in other books outside of the Fear Itself miniseries and outside the Fear Itself tie-in minis and one-shots. So 61 of those 123 issues took place in ongoing series.
And you know the funny thing? Fear itself wasn't that good.
Exactly. I thought it sucked.
I'm sorry, I just didn't understand the whole, oh,
That
Thor,
was,
I'm
yeah,
your father, your brother, your uncle's coming back. Oh, but by the way, your uncle's completely evil and would destroy the world, so we have to stop him, and then I'm going to exile myself and him to the old Asgard, and don't bug us ever again.
yeah, there were elements of other Marvel events that I loved, like Civil War. I loved the concept behind that. Secret Invasion, I absolutely loved it until towards the end. But with Fear itself and the what was the other one? The Chaos War, or whatever it was called. Not Chaos War. It's something
Yeah.
like that.
It was Fear itself, Civil War, and Siege.
What was right after Fear itself? There was like a mini event after Fear itself. It was like a Thor thing.
Oh God, the Fearless.
Maybe it was before Fear itself. I don't remember. Anyway, Fear itself and one other event, I just had no interest in whatsoever. I could not get into them. I don't know. But that's just me.
I thought Siege you would say. The Siege of Asgard.
Siege, I didn't mind. I liked some of it, not all of it. I love the final confrontation with Norman Osborn. Do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I just liked the fact that it ended the Dark Reign and it went into the Heroic Age.
Yeah, that lasted all a month.
Yep, and then Heroic Age disappeared and it's like, oh, we're back in the regular Marvel era. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Then we have Dark Avengers again.
Oh, please.
Oh, but yeah, the tie-ins, when done well, can be exciting for readers, and I'm sure exciting for retailers because there are new books that they get to push. But when they're done poorly, like we talked about, like when they spill over into other series and it's, universe-wide, which makes me scared for this New 52 one. That's when it starts hurting the pocket, and it starts just hurting just the overall enjoyment, I think. So.
I absolutely agree. I don't understand why. If you're gonna have a miniseries, keep the miniseries the way it is. If you're gonna tie anything into it, make it its own miniseries tied into the miniseries. Don't reach out into the mainstream books.
Yeah. The only exception I would make to that is if it's like a mini crossover, like the Trinity War thing that's just in the Justice League books. If it's something like that, I don't mind it crossing over if you know that going in. Just like in the 90s with the Executioner song, or recently with the, even though I didn't like the story, recently with the, in the
Avengers versus...
No, the Age of Apocalypse thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you mean the, oh jeez.
I can't think. Extermination.
Extermination, yeah.
Yeah. Something like that I don't mind because it's still contained. It's contained in a certain amount of books that you expect to be sidetracked for that story. But when you start spilling out into everything, like Civil War spilled out into Spider-Man and Avengers and Daredevil and so on and so forth, that's when it gets a bit too much.
Yeah, absolutely. But once again, this is a way of the big two to make extra money off of a mini event.
Yeah.
However, Marvel's been doing at least one or two a year, whereas DC's done, well, they were doing none. Now they're doing like 3 in 1 year, and this is amazingly ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it was like they lulled us into a false sense of security. It's like, for 2 years, we're just gonna ride it slow, no events, then slowly start seeping in Trinity War, then all of a sudden, boom!
Villains Month.
Yeah. And then another, Forever Evil, and then a new crossover after that, and...
the universe crossover. It's like, get the hell out of here, please.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like it's like they gave us the finality of the whole epic Green Lantern story that we talked about last week, that wrapped up all, Blackest Night, Brightest Day, Rebirth, all that. It wrapped up everything like that, and then they're like, okay, we gave you the finality to this. Now we're exploding something brand new on you. It's going to take up who knows how long. The difference is we liked the Green Lantern stuff and we wanted it.
Exactly. We didn't want Villains Month to be 1 through 4 in the points, plus it going into a universe-wide crossover. Oh, our pockets will weep.
My pockets have done falling off my pants and run out the door. What are you talking about?
My pockets are
in me. Yeah, I'm kidding.
They're in Canada right now, man. I'm sorry, but at some point, come on, guys. Yeah. DC especially, come on. I'm getting disappointed in you guys now.
Yeah. But that is our peek behind the veil this week, and we actually said it right this week. I'm proud of us.
Yay!
So what's up next?
Up next, because we are celebrating Superman Month on Comic Related, and DC Comics is copying us, Brant and I decided to start a Superman segment going through the life, death, funeral, reign, and return of Superman.
Yes. Every single week in June, we're gonna have a segment on the show, just like Chris described, and of course we'll start this week with leading up to the death of Superman. So I know you wanted to start with the Man of Steel run.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to start with the 1986 John Byrne's Man of Steel 6-issue, or was it? Yeah, it was about 6-issue miniseries, is because that era Superman is the one that basically leads into death. That's the one. That's the universe where Superman officially died first. So, 1986, after Crisis on Infinite Earth, as always, Superman's background is the ever-changing, ever-evolving, ever-crazily revamped redo. So they redid Superman's past. Now, instead of Martha and Jonathan Kent being dead, they are alive and, in fact, help Clark create his own Superman costume. This is just a hugely abbreviated version. Also, in this miniseries is the first meeting between Batman and Superman, Lois Lane and Superman's connection, Clark Kent's joining of the Daily Planet, the first appearance of Bizarro, Superman and Lex Luthor's, the kindling of their arch rivalry, the return to Smallville, where we find out that Lana actually knows about Clark being Superman as well, and just a whole bunch of awesome retold, a brand new Krypton, where instead of it being a bunch of super beings, it's a bunch of emotionless beings who only live for science, which kind of that was the only down point, I feel, to the whole Man of Steel series, was the way they portrayed the Kryptonians.
What did you think about the retelling of Bizarro?
I liked it. I liked the whole miniseries. Unfortunately, the Bizarro, though, if you remember, that Bizarro dies.
Yeah.
So technically, that's it's like a first Bizarro of many.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was sad to see that Bizarro die, but I thought it was a really interesting, and for its time, definitely introduced Superman in a brand new light, and I wish that with the New 52 they would have at least kept his parents alive. I believe but then again they said they wanted to kill them so this way he would embrace more of his alien side, which I don't understand why they would want that, because, you want somebody that's more down to earth as your Superman, but...
Yeah, that takes kind of the core, idea behind Superman, yeah.
Takes the heart away from Superman.
Right.
So, I don't know, but I enjoyed, that was the life part of Superman, and then from 1986 through to 1992, we had Superman's life, living, Superman, Lois Lane, and Clark Kent getting close in the engagement. And then, in 1992, in the Adventures of Superman 497, Superman went head-to-head with Doomsday. And Brant, my throat's killing me, so do you want to take over?
I will try to do my best, and it's been a long time since I've read this, so you might have to help me out here.
Oh, helping is fine. I just need to either.
Okay. Well, to kick the whole Doomsday thing off, I think it was Superman Man of Steel, number 18. The fist punches through the wall, and it's the caption, Doomsday is coming. And,
I just fast-forwarded to when they first collided, so, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that point. That's all.
Okay.
So, this was a huge, huge event at the time. I mean, comics were, off the charts at this period in time. This is when Image launched. This is, we had the superstar artists, we had the speculator market, and when they announced the death of Superman, it was all over the news. They had, QVC specials with Dan Jurgens on there with all the issues and everything, which I watched 2 hours straight of Dan Jurgens talking about Superman memorabilia. But
I'm sorry, I love Dan Jurgens, so I could, if I was older, I would have sat there listening too.
And I did. And, it was just this huge event, and it was all around us, and it was the big thing in comics at the time. And, basically there's this villain that Superman's never met somebody that's quite his match like Doomsday. And, this was obviously for younger people or new people that are newer to comics. Doomsday's kind of played out at this point.
They OD'd on him, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. But back then, Doomsday was fresh, new. It was something we'd never seen before. Somebody that could go toe to toe with Superman and win. He had the potential to win.
That was, I remember Dan Jurgens saying that the world believed up until that point that Superman was unkillable.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Jurgens, not Doomsday, Dan Jurgens proved that you could kill Superman.
Yeah. And I remember reading that issue, and it was just this, when you see that final confrontation and they, they punch or whatever, and then you see Lois holding Superman in her arms, and then you pull it out and he's laying on the ground, and it's over, it's done. I mean, talking about an emotional moment. I mean, I don't care if you're a Superman fan or not. That was one of the most emotional moments in comics to that point, bar none. And still to this day, I think it holds as one of the key stories and issues in all comics.
I agree. It was the first time any company killed its super hitter.
Yeah. So it was just huge, and the details of that particular issue are kind of vague to me. I remember it being like this huge fight, and unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
I don't either, so I just remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah. But it was Doomsday had this trail of destruction going on, and Superman was following and, trying to thwart him and everything. And of course, their confrontation was imminent, and you knew it was coming, but you didn't know what to expect. And then when it exploded like that, and it was issue 75 of volume 2 of Superman, and they did the whole black bag thing, which was fitting, I thought, even though it was a gimmick and even though it skyrocketed everything and nearly killed the industry and stuff like that. It was still cool to see the black bag, So, I don't know.
Oh, they did a white bag for the funeral.
Yeah.
So, and then the Reign of Superman happened also, but once again, these are stories we're cutting up into pieces, so.
Yeah, we'll get to that more next week as well, or not next week, but before this is all over. But it was just, it was a single punch from Doomsday that knocked Supergirl to the ground, and Superman like firing a laser cannon at Doomsday, and all this different stuff is going on. The police are attacking him, and Superman jumps back in there, and they strike each other so much that it like sends shockwaves and it tears up the streets and everything, and there's rubble everywhere, and it's just this crazy dynamic scene. As dynamic as you can get in a print medium, and there's just, it was crazy. It was intense. And, up to that point, I mean, some might argue that, Crisis on Infinite Earths was, with the death of Supergirl and all that stuff was more impactful, and the death of Flash, which that was a very impactful story too, but I don't know, there was just something about Superman, this original superhero, this guy that's been around since the 30s, that is iconic above all others. Everybody knows who he is, and he dies. And it was just, I wasn't even a DC guy at the time, and I ate this up. So that's how I remember it anyway.
That's how I remember it too, and that's how Superman died. Next week, stick around for the funeral for a friend.
Yeah. So that's yeah. That's this week's Superman segment. Now it's time to get into some reviews.
Hooray! We got nice books this week.
Yeah, and we're actually going to start with DC again. I told you it's a DC week.
It just is. And since we're talking about Superman, let me be the first one to talk about Adventures of Superman, issue number 1, Digital First Stories. And I'll be honest, the first story was a really good one. It was called Violent Minds. It was written by Jeff Parker, art by Chris Samney. For those of you that aren't familiar with Chris Samney, he does the artwork in Daredevil.
Mm-hmm. And Jeff Parker did, I love the Agents of Atlas book for Marvel, and he did that, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, it was a really compelling story. It was fun to read. It was about a guy who was on drugs, but these drugs actually gave him psychic powers, and Superman tries to save him, and to no avail, and in the end, basically, the guy dies from a heart attack. And of course, Lex Luthor's involved, but, Superman's the one doing cleanup, and Lex Luthor's the one that's doing all the, sneaky behind the scenes stuff. That wasn't bad. Second story, however, I have to say the complete opposite. The second story was written and art by Jeff Lemire. The story is called Fortress. And I'm sorry. I know children that could draw a bit better than this. I think Rob Liefeld could draw better than this.
Wow. Now you've seen Lemire's art before though, right?
No. This is the very first time. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at Superman and I swear I'm looking at Bizarro.
Wow. Yeah, he does have a very distinctive art style, and in my opinion, my personal opinion, is that his style is best suited for a certain type of story. I mean, if you read some of his, what was it, Essex County, I think is what he did, or he did Sweet Tooth in Vertigo, stuff like that, which is kind of out there, kind of different. It's more indie feeling.
Yeah, it would fit. It would fit more. Here, it doesn't fit at all. And the last story, really quick, was Bizarro's Worst Day, written by Justin Jordan and art by Riley Rosmo. A little bit of an improvement from Jeff Lemire's artwork, but still not as good as Chris Samney's artwork in the first story arc. First book in 20 months, where Superman is back in his classic costume, and I don't even care about Lemire's artwork. It's damn good to see Superman back in his classic suit.
That's interesting that Riley Rosmo did the art for the other story. He's more, I mean, he's kind of one of those on the rise artists, but he's more known for like horror kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. He's done several Image books. So interesting. I didn't read this, so I didn't get to see all the art and everything. So I'm just curious to see it now.
Oh, you're lucky so far. All right, so do you want to do the next one, Brant?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and jump to Vertigo real quick. Then we'll converge on. Well, then you can cover that other one. Then we'll converge on the last one.
Okay.
This is The Wake, #1 by Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy. And this is obviously a brand new book from Vertigo. I didn't really know what to expect with this. I actually was fortunate enough to get a review copy of this book, and it's a maxi series. It's issue 1.
Review copy.
This is
I didn't get none.
You sound like a drunk.
I am drunk.
This is issue 1 of 10, $2.99 book, and anybody that's not familiar with Scott Snyder, he's the guy that's been on Batman, kind of took it to not, I won't say new heights, but he's done some really cool things with Batman. American Vampire, another book that he's famous for. And basically this story starts off kind of I don't know what kind of genre to call this, because it's at
horror.
first,
It's a horror book.
yeah.
That's what it was promoted to me as.
Yeah, eventually you realize that that's what it is, and of course, if you read solicitation copy and everything like that. But the start of it, because Scott Snyder kind of has a slow build kind of style to his writing, because he likes to build up to like that pivotal moment in his stories, and that's kind of what this one does. You get a glimpse of, you get a glimpse in the future, and you have this girl who's got this dolphin companion, and it's this city that kind of looks like it's underwater, halfway underwater, and then it's this flood is coming in, and then you shift to 200 years earlier, and you're not told why. You don't understand the connection yet. Even by the end of this issue, you don't really understand the connection between what I assume is present day and 200 years earlier, or maybe 200 years early is present day. I don't know. But we go to Washington, and there's this doctor that studies well sounds. I forget. It's echolocation or something like that. That's dolphins. I forget what it's called for whales, but she's studying whales, and apparently she used to work for the government, and the government comes calling, and they after some heavy convincing, they bring her in because they convince her that they've heard this sound that they've never heard before, and they want to get her take on it, so they want to take her to base camp. And upon arriving at base camp, which turns out to be way, way under the water in a submarine, she finds out that she wasn't brought there necessarily for the reason that she thought. And she thought it was just this unique sound in the ocean that they brought her in to verify. But it turns out all these people were there in different fields. Like there was somebody she used to work with in the government agency, and they don't like each other. Then there's these other two specialists. And in the last 4 pages, we discover why she's there, and or why all these people have converged there. And one of them was there to get tissue samples. One of them was there for the sound. One of them was there for something else. And I don't know. Should I spoil or no?
Well, yeah, you could if you want, because I want to hear more about this.
Okay. So basically, in these last 4 pages, they're just standing around trying to figure out, why did you deceive me to get me down here? Where are we? Oh, you didn't tell me we were going to be in a sub and all this stuff, all this different banter, and everybody's kind of freaking out. And then all of a sudden, these crew members come in, and this dude has got half his face ripped off, and he's screaming in pain. And they're like, "What's going on? What happened?" And the door is accidentally left open. So the woman that we saw, apparently she's going to be the lead of the story, and I totally forgot her name. I'll find it here in a second. But she's apparently going to be the lead. So she stumbles into this room that they just came out of, and what we see is this amphibious creature that's amphibious humanoid creature in a tank, just staring through her with these evil eyes. And so now we understand why she's there. It kind of looks like what do you call it? Creature from the Black Lagoon. Mm-hmm. It's that kind of thing. But it's all Hannibal Lecter style. He's chained up in a straitjacket in a tank, but somehow he ripped this guy's face off and got back in his tank chained up. So it kind of adds that horror suspense element to it. And then we get a look at 700,000 years in the past, cave drawings. And this dude picks up this weird contraption, and it pokes his eye out, and then there's like this cave drawing of this creature that they found in this tube. And that's how the issue ends. So it's a slow build, but it kind of keeps you interested. You're like, okay, it's kind of like the opening scene of a movie where you get that introduction to the characters and what their specialties are and everything, and then they're brought into this event that they don't know what they're at, and then it's that first scene where you realize what the movie is actually about. That's kind of how this issue was set up.
Yeah, it sounds so interesting. I don't know why I chose to pass up on it.
It is. It's very interesting. I mean, I really enjoyed this issue. Jury's still kind of out for me on whether I'm going to enjoy the entire series. I'll have to read a couple more issues to see, but so far I'm liking it. So, Scott Snyder's a fantastic writer. Sean Murphy is a perfect artist for this kind of story. So
yeah, I remember his Punk Rock Jesus.
Yeah, very fitting for a horror type story. So yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. It's a first issue, $2.99 issue. Scott Snyder, can't go wrong.
Very true. And I guess now I'll do the Earth 2 annual.
Yeah.
First of all, don't let the cover deceive you. As always, it says, "And now the darkest night," and it's who is the new Batman. And if you're looking to figure that the answers are going to be in this book, oh boy, you're wrong. You open this book up, and it's there's an interlude, which is basically the origin of the Atom Smasher. And that's basically most of the beginning of the book. That's considered the interlude. Then you go into present day, you get to see Captain Steel, I believe for the first time, in the Earth 2U, unless they mentioned him prior or showed him prior, and I just didn't catch on. But yeah, the interlude ends, and then we get more on Atom Smasher, and then we get the connection to the new Batman, whom we don't know who the new Batman is. However, the new Batman does go after, I believe it's Mr. Freeze, but it's like his great-grandson or something. I don't know, you didn't read this issue, did you, Brant?
No, I flipped through it. I didn't have time to read it. Sorry.
But in the end, basically, long story short, he knows that a war is coming, and Hawkgirl is somebody he really needs to get to know better. And then we get 2 pages or should I say 3 pages of Mr. Miracle and Abarta.
Okay.
And that's basically the short version of it. I don't want to spoil it for you, Brent, because I know you're pretty far behind in Earth 2. And I'll be honest, did you have to have this issue? I don't believe so. However, it is the first appearance of the new quote-unquote Batman for Earth 2. So it's an unneeded but still kind of needed book.
I'm actually curious about the Big Barda Mr. Miracle thing too.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and also I gotta be honest, the whole Batman thing is interesting as well.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
And that's all I got.
That's it, huh? Much more summarized than my version. By the way, the lead character of the Wake, Dr. Archer, is her name. So, okay. I needed to throw that out there. What issue is Earth 2 up to, by the way?
For Earth 2?
Yeah.
Issue 13 is coming out tomorrow.
Okay. Which issue is Robinson Lee? 16. Okay.
We were talking about it on the live show last night, and we said 13, but actually he's leaving at issue 16.
Okay. I was just curious because I know he wrote this annual too. So, all right. So next up, Justice League of America #4, and you read this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This was an interesting issue, and the cover, the Secret Society strikes, and you got this big, giant dude crushing Hawkman and
I
Martian
call
Manhunter.
him Sasquatch.
That's what I called him, but I think they called him Shaggy Man.
He's called Sasquatch. It's a lot cooler than Shaggy Man.
Yeah, it is. So, this issue, which I was kind of surprised when we saw Arthur. I'll say, I don't. He gets a call to come into to Argus, which of course is Amanda Waller calls him in, and Arthur is Dr. Light. So definitely a retooling for Dr. Light in this version of the DC universe from the one that I'm familiar with. So where we left off last issue, Catwoman got herself captured to try to infiltrate the secret society. I should probably set that up. So they're trying to hone in on her, and Green Arrow's found this little coin, which this coin is kind of important for a reason that ties into what we were talking about earlier. It has a bunch of Latin writing on it, and on one side it says, let them hate as long as they fear, which is, okay. But on the other side, the Latin translates to forever evil.
Which leads into the miniseries. Ha ha ha.
Of course. So they're kind of planting the seeds there, and now we're seeing what Forever Evil might entail, because we have this villainous group here, the Secret Society or whatever. So, they're trying to track down Catwoman because she's, they don't know exactly where she's at, but this coin apparently can transmit some kind of signal, so they're trying to find her, basically. And I don't want to give a complete rundown, but they get on a plane and they take off, and Green Arrow's with them. Another little tidbit here, which I have to mention, they remodel a jet, a transport jet, a C-17 Boeing Globemaster III. Yeah. And it's also capable of camouflage. And who was it that asked him? Somebody asked him, what do you call this thing, Colonel Trevor? I think it was Vibe Besson. He says, I call it the Invisible Jet. So a little nod to that, being Steve Trevor and everything, a little nod to Wonder Woman's Invisible Jet. All the while, Stargirl, as we've seen in previous issues, is being forced to be the spokesperson, but out of the field. She's supposed to be the personality, but she decides she's going to go along. And so she rides atop the Invisible Jet, which is kind of comical, because you got this girl riding on thin air, basically, or an outline. So, it's interesting. But, then we get this big battle. Once they finally get into the mansion, we see the Shaggy Man, aka Sasquatch, tearing the Justice League apart, and he sets Martian Manhunter on fire at one point. We see Dr. Ivo with his face all deformed as he's talking to Catwoman and everything. And then the controversial moment happens, which apparently there's a controversy over it. I don't know. Catwoman's running down the hall. All of a sudden there's this beat panel with a whoosh, and then they catch her. The Secret Society catches her, Constrictor wraps her up, and they tie her to a chair. And this is a major spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this, you might want to fast forward. How the issue ends, after a little monologue by the villain and everything, she's like, if you kill me, Batman's going to come for you. He'll stop at nothing to find you. And he says, Batman, good. That's exactly what we wanted. And he shoots her in the head. Catwoman's dead.
Yeah.
And they said,
I highly doubt that.
Well, and they said, let's clean up this mess. So that's how the issue ends, with Catwoman's supposed death. Now, one theory, which I heard on the live show, is that Martian Manhunter somehow switched places with her. Or something. Somehow that's Martian Manhunter that got shot. I want to hear what your theory is. Or first, what did you think of this issue?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked the little nudge to the whole Forever Evil that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The ending. See, this is what I'm.
Nice foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say it right.
No. I was just putting it a different way.
Oh, okay. I thought I said it wrong.
No.
I like. The ending with Catwoman. Everybody's like, "Oh, Catwoman's dead." Shot right through that. Listen. A, she has her own comic series that isn't going to be canceled anytime soon. B, she had a special that just came out this week. C, she's not dead.
Okay. All right. So, do you have a theory?
There are several. There's Amanda Waller. For those of you that read Suicide Squad, you know that Deathstroke died several times already and was brought back through a serum or whatever it was. I don't know. Somebody told me it, so it could be that. It could be that wasn't like that could have been Catwoman, or it could have she really didn't die somehow. I don't know. There's just so many. I know there's a ton of possibilities that aren't hitting me, but I know she's not dead.
Yeah, I have two possible theories, which I don't know how accurate either one of them could be. One of them is we saw them fighting the robotic clones of the Justice League. It's possible they could have gotten a hold of a robotic version, but that's not my main theory. We do see a Fwash, and she's shocked in the middle of this thing, so that could either be that Constrictor nailed her or something, or it could be somebody switched places with her. My theory, though, is Stargirl had something to do with it, because we see her, she hitched a ride, she's running towards the mansion, but then we never see her again.
True.
So I'm not saying that it is Stargirl that got shot, but I wonder if maybe she had something to do. Maybe they upgraded the powers that the Cosmic Staff has. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens next issue. See how it plays out.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. It definitely. I mean, even though we know comics deaths don't last, especially with main characters like that, but it was still kind of a shocking ending. It was a surprise.
With Jean Grey, the death lasted a long time.
True, very true. And they could be bold enough to do that. Who knows? But it was something unexpected, so I appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a shocking moment of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We did have a backup story in this, which I did.
I ignored it.
It was very ignorable. I didn't read it, but I skimmed through it because basically it was just an extended version of the fight between the Sasquatch and Martian Manhunter with his origin interspliced in between it.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Paying an extra $1 for it.
Yeah. So I mean, it was that same retold origin, why he hates fire, that whole thing. So.
And Mars and death and
yeah, all that good stuff.
very good stuff, right?
But overall, I think this was one of the better issues that I read this week.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely in my top pile, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I still say we could live without the secondary story and just bring the book down to $2.99.
Totally agree. Those secondary stories so far in this book are completely throwaways.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. So does that wrap us up on DC?
Yeah, that wraps us up on DC.
All right. So that takes us over to Marvel.
And with Marvel, actually, there are two books that we both can discuss. Did you read Wolverine and the X-Men issue 30?
Yeah, we got 3. We can talk
Okay,
that, New Avengers.
I just wanted to make sure you read. Yeah, I wanted to start with Wolverine and the X-Men because it's the Hellfire Saga prologue.
Yes.
Basically, in this issue, we have a traitor in the midst of the X-Men. We have I'm sorry?
I said, oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's so predictable, it's not even funny, so
by
now, no, so I called it. I called it from the beginning of the series, but we'll get into that also towards the end of this.
Right.
So, Beast goes to Dr. Starblood to try to figure out a way to fix Brood. However, he learns really fast that there is no way to fix Brew. Basically, Brew is fine. He's 100% healthy. It's just his brain suffered huge trauma and he's no longer intelligent. He's just looking to kill everything.
Yeah, he's just a regular old Brood now.
Exactly. So I don't think it's going to stay that way forever. I have a feeling somehow he's going to come back and prevent Heidi from doing anything.
I hope so, because my problem with this, I mean, I understand why they're going that route, but my problem with this is they created a unique and lovable and likable character.
I love them. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's completely different, and then they completely ruined it.
They shot him in the head.
Yeah, literally.
Grant, they shot him in the
I
head.
know.
And turned him into a monster.
Yeah. So, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, it's fine. So we also find out why Idy is joining the Hellfire Club's school, and I'm not going to spoil that here. But it turns out that Quentin Quire, along with, here's your spoiler, ladies and gentlemen, the traitor in the midst of the X-Men is Toad. Why? Paige. Why Paige? Because Paige is working for the Hellfire Club because she's still butthurt that she got kicked out of the X-Men school.
Yeah.
And Brood attacks Beast thanks to Dr. Starblood because he apparently knows how to talk Brood. And they get attacked by... Brent, have you ever seen this character before? By the character that attacked the Philistine? Philistine?
I have not. I was baffled by him too.
Well, apparently he's a member of the Hellfire Club. Quentin Quire gets shanghaied by Kitty Pryde and other members of the X-Men who believe he is actually the traitor when in fact it's Toad. And yeah, they leave for the Hellfire School along with Starblood and Brood who escape Beast. Yeah. To be continued in the first part of the actual Hellfire saga. Yeah. I think it's a very good setup. I'm hoping that Idy kicks some Hellfire butt. Brew finds a way back to his own brain. And Wolverine finally snicks those kids right where it hurts.
Yeah. This issue, man. You couldn't be more predictable than this issue. It's not possible to be more predictable. That was my main problem with it. I mean, I like this book. I like the characters. I like the whole school aspect. I like this whole Hellfire Club Academy thing. But Quentin Quire turning to the Hellfire Club, that's so predictable. Toad being a traitor, and Paige disappoints me. That really disappoints me. But I don't know. I'm not saying it was a bad issue. I'm just saying I'm so annoyed by certain things in this issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. I don't know. I'm still pumped for the series, but
yeah,
I love how it says Wolverine and the X-Men, the strangest heroes of all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's got a very diverse cast of characters. It's crazy between the Bamfs and all the teachers at the Hellfire Club and at the Jean Grey School and everybody. I mean, it's a very, very cool concept. And maybe it's that they made me care about the characters too much. I mean, I'm upset about what happens to Brew. The predictability stuff, I wish they had gone a different way just to make it interesting. I wish it was somebody other than Quentin Quire leaving with them.
Mm-hmm. Because that's somebody more shocking.
Yeah, because I mean that's way, way, way too obvious. But yeah, I mean it's still very interesting. I'm curious to see where Starblood fits into all this, who this Philistine character is. Obviously he can teleport. There's some interesting elements that they've introduced here. I hope Paige eventually turns back. I don't know. She seems like she's crazy. But, yeah. And then there's, continuity-wise, there's only one thing that really bothers me continuity-wise here.
Mm-hmm.
Beast.
Yep.
Now, we're going to talk about New Avengers here shortly. Two completely different characters here. I mean, from the look... and then if you look at them in All New X-Men,
I made that notice when I was reading All New X-Men. I'm like, All New, New Avengers.
Yeah.
It's like, something tells me Beast didn't change yet in the New Avengers.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, apparently continuity doesn't matter anymore at this point for Marvel, so... But, yeah.
Yeah.
Like his old self.
But, I mean, they could at least keep some kind of... I don't know.
Well, I agree. I'm agreeing with you, but...
Yeah. I'll say one thing was... Another thing that was interesting... At one point, Quentin Quire reads one of the Bamp's minds.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And I don't want to spoil that either, but there's a very interesting scene there. So. Interesting
is definitely a word I would use.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's going to lead into some future storyline.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
So
next one is next one's yours.
Yeah, New Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It was a book. It was a book.
Oh, it was a book, alright.
Yeah. Okay, so this was kind of the closing chapter of this whole it's kind of the closing chapter on this Illuminati versus the incursions of these I forget what they called the story. But where these worlds are colliding and everything, and they're trying to stop it, which we've seen since the beginning of the series, and with the help of this captured Black Swan character, and we see that they finally have some plans in motion. Reed and the Black Panther, they've reverse engineered this device that the Black Swans had, which is kind of like it's kind of a nuke basically that can destroy the entire world. And on the other hand, Tony Stark, Iron Man, has created this thing which he wants to call the Stark Sphere, but apparently that name's already taken, as he says. But it's some kind of thing that draws solar power from the sun and can turn the sun into a weapon. But it turns out that neither one of these things are going to be built in time. Neither one of them, or the Tony Stark's device is not going to be built in time. They don't have time before the next incursion, so they have to go with the other plan to destroy the world if it comes to that. The incursion point turns out to be in Latveria, of all places. So they travel to Latveria. Of course, Latveria, for anybody not familiar, is the homeland of Doctor Doom. So they are at Doom's castle. But the interesting thing is the sky is not red, and the Black Swan character, she is freaking out about this. She's like, the sky's blue. And they're like, yeah, it's blue, whatever, but she's like, no, you don't understand. We have no time. You're out of time. The sky's blue. And they're like, you're not making any sense or whatever. So she's like, the map makers are coming. She's very cryptic.
This entire book made no sense, to be quite honest.
I know. She's very cryptic for a long time, but then you see all these soldiers from somewhere out of the other descending on Castle Doom, and Doom's son, Kristoff, is fighting them off. And then we see Doom interacting with some of them. And he's like, you dare attack Doom, and he does this Doom thing that he always does. And then she explains, well, actually not at that point, she just says, bring the bomb, and she shows them this dead world that was the other world that these people came from. And basically, if the sky's blue instead of red, they're not there to take it over. They're there to completely sap it of every inch, every morsel of life, and then destroy it. And that's what they plan to do to Earth instead of what they were going to do. So now it's an even more dire threat, apparently. And they have to stop it. So what do? They have to destroy this planet, this dead planet. And for some reason, they are contemplating whether they should destroy this planet that has absolutely no life on it. And like it's changed them forever because they have to destroy a completely dead planet. Which made absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, what the heck happened? And then it's explained about the map makers and why the universe is blue. It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, literally, we've seen them battle with their conscience over the course of this arc. And the whole thing has been, if we have to destroy a world full of people to save our own universe, that's going to change us forever. That's why we're here. That's why we had to kick Captain America out. These are the kind of decisions we make. And it comes down to the point but they're not destroying a world with life on it. They are destroying a world that has absolutely no life. It's dead. It's already raised. It's done. And they're still like, this has changed me. Black Panther's like, I'm not waiting. I'm remembering who I used to be before I pull this trigger. And it's like, you're not changing. You're killing something that's already dead. There's no change here. What? I don't understand. So, one important factor that I forgot to mention was they went over to this other world, and this was last issue. They went over to this other world and got Terrax. All right, so they still have Terrax in this cube. Terrax from a different world, and they put the Black Swan beside Terrax towards the end of the issue, and she's reading his mind and everything, and it ends cryptically with her saying, basically a day is going to come soon where we can find each other useful. And then we see an epilogue with Dr. Doom as this device that they used to destroy the dead world fell to the earth, and Doom now has it. And apparently that's something good for Doom, because he's got this, what I assume is going to be an evil grin underneath a metal steel plate. So that's how your issue ends. You as confused as I am?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but this whole incursion, whatnot, I'm just glad it's over. That's basically the best thing I could say for New Avengers. I'm glad the first story arc's over completely.
The sad thing is, it was an interesting story to start off with.
Yeah, but it got so convoluted and stupid.
You're
and
right.
They have Drax, and now Black Swan is going to play into something in the future, which is probably going to be Infinity. It's like, and Reed Richards, of all people, a married man, one day they'll see that we need you.
That made me sick. I was like, really? That's the route they're going with this? Yeah, some budding romance there or something.
Oh, please don't say that. Please don't say that. Two kids. Don't say anything with the word romance and Reed Richards unless it has Sue.
Yeah, I know, but that felt like where it was like he's got a crush on her or something. That's what it felt like to me. It was just I just can't get past the fact that they were so distraught by having to destroy a dead world. That makes no sense. No sense.
I don't know. And I love how Black Panther's upset. There was nobody on the freaking earth. What are you so upset about?
Exactly.
That was good. I just want to remember who I am.
Yeah.
Who I was. You're the same person. You didn't kill anybody.
Exactly. If we were given awards for this one, this is going to be the Scratch Your Head Award of the Whu-huh? Yeah. This was easily the worst. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And before we go into the last book this week, I would like to mention a funny moment.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to put some music in with the funny moment, like, get the Laurel and Hardy, music theme thingy and let it play for a couple of seconds. So anyway, funny moment of the week. Savage Wolverine issue number 5. And it's not at the beginning, it's more towards the end. We all know that Wolverine was trying to prevent the Dark Walker from being freed. However, he does get free, and Hulk tries to stop him.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, Hulk tries to smash, and he has an atomic bomb. So Hulk tries to smash, Hulk gets slapped. Hulk falls down, bomb explodes. Hulk continues to fall down, gets eaten by one of those whale shark things in the ocean, and the whale shark goes underwater. And all you see is 3 panels. Wolverine saying, damn. Shauna saying, wow. And Amadeus Cho going, you have to admit, that was pretty awesome and funny. Yes, even without that panel, it was pretty awesome and pretty funny all at once.
You have to mention the next page, though, at the end. Shannon says, what do we do now? And Wolverine says, go home. That just puts a cap on it. Yeah,
that puts a big cap on the whole. So, now what?
Meanwhile, Hulk's in the belly of a fish somewhere.
They're like, what about the Hulk? He'll be fine.
That was hilarious. Oh, yeah. So,
and the final book of the week, X-Men #1.
Yay.
Or they should have just called it X-Women, to be quite honest.
I don't know why they did that. No.
Girl power. And this issue stars the X-Women. Kitty Pryde, Jubilee, Psylocke, Storm, Rogue, and Rachel Grey.
Yep. And another little visitor.
And what? Oh, and another little guy. A baby. We all remember how we were freaking out everybody a couple of episodes back?
Yep.
Well, the good news is Jubilee is not a mom. She basically saved this orphan baby, and she's being followed, which is why she's going back to the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning. She said, the X-Men helped me, so maybe they can help this baby. So, she calls up the Jean Grey School and says, I'm being followed, I'll be there, I'm coming by train. I forgot hold on. I have no idea who this guy or what he's capable of. I'll be there on the next train sooner. The sooner I'm with you guys, the safer we'll be in. They're like, we, Jubilee, who? And then she hangs up. And, Storm, Rogue, and Kitty Pryde obviously agree that, they're not gonna wait for Kitty to show up. They're gonna go meet Kitty halfway. However, Jubilee, but Jubilee's not being followed anymore. The person who's following her, whose name is, John Sublime, he shows up at the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning and explains about the baby and the possession, and there are some scary baby eyes in the middle of this book.
Yep.
And it turns out the baby's possessed by John Sublime's long-lost sister who longs to destroy the world. The whole story, etc., etc. Destroy the world, take over machines, kill people. And it's up to him to stop her, only this time he's not strong enough, so he's looking for the X-Men to stop her. And, well, Jubilee's at the school, and so is the baby. And so is a bunch of other things that can be possessed. So, in the end, Arika, which is the brother of John Sublime's sister's name, emerges in a new body.
Yeah.
To be continued.
And she she looks bad, man.
Oh yeah.
Arkia Prime?
Yeah, I
don't know. I return. This body will do.
So, what did you think about the issue, Brant?
Honestly, this was, for me personally, this was kind of like good old-fashioned fun X-Men.
Yeah, with all the ladies.
Yeah. So, I mean, I enjoyed this issue more than I thought it would, actually.
I enjoyed it basically the way I figured I would, an average story, but the good news is, I didn't think I'd be coming back for the next issue. I probably will pick up the next issue just to see where this story arc is going.
Yeah, I mean, I was skeptical, not because it was all female cast, but just because, I don't know. I wasn't clear on what they were going to do with it.
What the storyline was going to be, yeah.
Yeah, but, and then the whole thing with like we talked about a couple episodes ago with the teenage vampire mommy, it was like, it just sounded something totally different than what it ended up being. But I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a fine issue. It was a very interesting kickoff to this, and I'm curious to see where things go.
And they didn't mention Jubilee being a vampire at all, so that's a plus right there.
Yep.
Maybe they can retcon that and forget it ever happened.
So yeah, it's very interesting. I think people should check it out, definitely.
And that's about it for this week, guys. My favorite book of the week, though, I will say this, was from IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 22, the first part to City Fall. That's my recommended book of the week.
I would say, probably the book I enjoyed the most was Justice League of America this week.
Oh yeah, that was definitely my second favorite.
But, yeah. I guess that's the only ones I want to mention. We should talk about what books we want to check out next week.
Before we do that, would you like to talk about the poll?
Yeah, you're right. That should come first. My apologies. Yes, the poll this week. First, we should look at the results of last week's poll, which I forgot to pull up again. I got to remember to start doing this before we talk, and I'm talking right now while I'm looking, so doesn't leave dead air. Yes. Last week's poll was, what should Superman's marital status do? Is some stupid thing popped over in front of the poll for me. And again, we didn't get a whole lot of votes. People, please go to our Facebook page and vote on these polls.
Or else we're not going to do them anymore.
Yeah, because, we're just trying to interact with you. If you'd like to hear, suggest polls to us, we'll take suggestions. Anyway, we asked, what should Superman's marital status be? Should he be married to Lois Lane, married to Lana Lang, Wonder Woman, or single? And the winning vote is married to Lois Lane. So there you go. So this week's...
Yay, my vote counted.
It did. It had to. So this week's poll is, what did you think of X-Men #1? Chris, give them the choices.
You either A, liked it, B, hated it, C, didn't read it, or D, threw it away. No, oh god, D was didn't care.
I thought D had something to do with too girly.
Oh, yeah, that was a girly. It was too girly. Thank you.
All right, so let us know. Head over to Facebook.com. I think it's /The Related Recap, or just look up Related Recap and you'll find it on Facebook. And there'll be a poll up there as this episode goes live, and it is Facebook.com/Related Recap. Yeah.
Hashtag World's Greatest Podcast.
There you go. So please just take a second to click a button and vote the poll.
Or else we're not doing it. This is the last time. If we don't get a lot of replies on this new poll, we aren't doing it anymore. We're trying to interact with you guys. Interact with us. Yep. Or we'll continue the Related Recap where it's just me and Brant, and you guys can sit there and listen to us on the World's Greatest Podcast. Don't forget that hashtag in Twitter. We're trying, guys, but you guys have to participate a little bit as well.
Meet us halfway. That's all.
We want to know what you guys...
Exactly. We want to build the show on interaction and stuff. We want to get your feedback, and we want to hear your thoughts. We want to get you involved any way possible. I know a lot of people just want to listen. That's fine, but it takes 2 seconds to click a little button or send an email. Do something. We just want to interact with you because we love doing this show for you, and we want to talk to you and enjoy it with you. That's all. Yeah. All right. So next week's books. Go down the line. Start with Dark Horse. Anything you're looking forward to from Dark Horse?
Nope.
Okay.
Except Star Wars Dark Times Fire Carrier #5.
Okay. For me, nothing from Dark Horse this time.
Okay. DC Comics.
Astro City #1. I've never read an Astro City, but since they're relaunching with a new series, I am curious about it, so I definitely want to check it out.
Okay, so let me know how it is, because I didn't get it.
Okay. Batwing #21, which I know you are following as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's one of mine.
Yeah. Green Lantern #21. I got to see where they're going to go with
Another
that next. One. Yeah, and those are the main ones. I mean, there's a couple more maybes, but those are the main ones for me in DC.
I'm also looking forward to Action Comics 21. I'm going down the list. Earth 2 #13, just to see what's going to happen next. I'm sure Mike's looking forward to Green Arrow 21 and Swamp Thing 21. Also Trinity of Sin, Phantom Stranger, especially because it's tying into the Trinity War now, so.
And you'll also be getting the movement, so we can do that next month.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I didn't want to spoil it, but yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously we debuted that segment already, so.
Oh, I know, I just didn't want to say the movement at all, maybe people forgot.
Ah, okay. Oh, my apologies then. It's out there now.
Oh no, it's okay.
So yeah, I might check out Earth 2, depending on how I enjoyed the annual or not. So, IDW is up next. Lock and Key, absolutely. Lock and Key Omega.
Same.
And
Colonna.
Colonna, I've not been reading that. It's good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's been going really good.
I think that's the only thing for me from IDW this time.
Okay, so we're now in Image.
Oh, you didn't see anything else there you want to? Okay.
The color classics I've read in black and white, and yeah, that's it.
No Robots in Disguise?
No, not
Okay.
as much as Colonize and Lock and Key. I am reading it, but right now Transformers is kind of at a average pace.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, Image. Going through the list, let's see.
Actually, I'm interested in Mice Templars Legend number 3.
Okay. I have never read any of the Mice Templar stuff. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I like it or not. Honestly, I'm way behind on the Darkness, but I was reading that after I got caught up on Artifacts and the whole relaunch stuff. That's really the only thing I see that really sticks out to me at this point, though. So, that it for you too?
Yeah, that's it for me too.
Okay. So that brings us to Marvel.
I'm
Go ahead.
trying to see.
Okay.
All New X-Men 12.
It's one of mine.
I know you're looking forward to Avengers Arena.
Mm-hmm.
I skipped over Daredevil Dark Knights. If I see somebody review it and like it, then we'll go from there. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for Kick-Ass 3 number 1.
Yeah.
I'm not reading it. Superior Spider-Man 11, just to see where the heck this series is going.
Absolutely.
Ultimate Comic, what?
I just said that. I was agreeing. Yeah.
Ultimate Comics Ultimates number 25, I'm actually going to start reading that. This is the Ultimates Disassemble. And that's about... The Wolverine Season 1 hardcover is coming out. If I had the extra money, I would be getting it, but that's something to make mention of as well.
Okay. You already mentioned All New X-Men and Avengers Arena, Superior Spider-Man. Those are my main ones. I am morbidly curious now, after we've talked about it. I'm just morbidly curious about Iron Man and see what happens next.
Oh yeah, I'm having fun with that one.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have something to talk about with that next week.
Yeah. So then that brings us into the indies. For me, Archer and Armstrong, number 10 from Valiant. That's a definite must. For me, love that series. Let's see, anything else that jumps out at me?
Garfield 14, I know Cindy's gonna be happy about that.
Yeah. Hypernaturals from Boom Studios. I'm way behind on it, but what I've read so far, I really enjoy. It's by Abnett Landing, who did all the Cosmic Marvel stuff when it was cool.
Grim Fairy Tales Lord of the Jungle, Species number 4, that's a good series going on.
That might be everything I see.
Yeah, I think so for me too.
Yeah. Kara's Magic from Aspen is okay. I like the first issue, so that's kind of a nifty one for me. But other than that, yeah, that's it. So that's our that's what we're looking forward to for next week, or actually come out.
And for those of you that are collecting the magazine, Walking Dead magazine issue number 4 comes out.
Yeah. Which those are good. If anybody hasn't checked those out, they got a lot of good stuff in those things. So I'd recommend checking them out. All right. So I guess that's going to wrap up our show, man. Finally.
Yeah. This was a pretty quick show. It was only about an hour and 44 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
See, for you guys, we made it short this week. And totally not because we're drunk out of our minds from tired.
Or pain.
Really quick before we cut out, a little bit of advertisement. The new channels will be up on YouTube by the time this airs. On iTunes, check out all Dark Avenger Inc.'s new channel layout. I'm working on mine. Dark Avenger Inc. by next week probably will hit 1,000 subscribers, so expect some type of special.
Yes.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll have a target date for you guys for the website. And as well as I don't want to really talk about it because it'll be at the end of the show, but there's something connecting to that there's going to be an unboxing of on my channel at some point, which is going to lead into another extension to not only Dark Event Drink, but at some point, probably around the same time, comic related, if you know what I'm talking about, Brant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to have that. So that'll be some fun announcements. There's going to be a lot of fun announcements coming really soon. Some stuff for you guys. Let me put it this way. I will say this much. If you guys are really huge fans of apparel and getting into what you're listening and or watching, you're going to like what's coming soon to an internet site near you. Trying to make sure I covered everything. Next week, me and Brant, Hall of Toys.
Yes.
We've already got the whole episode practically laid out. Mm-hmm. You guys are going to enjoy this week's substitute for a topic, because it's not a topic this time. You're going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Also,
we actually will have, if everything works out, we'll have a guest for a portion of it.
Yes, we will. So that's another huge plus. Also, don't forget, once again, it is Superman month on comicrelated.com. Every day there's going to be at least one article based on or surrounding Superman, which is awesome. Of course, they had to do Superman month now that I'm kind of not into Superman as much as I was pre-New 52. But what can you do? I can live with it. I'm enjoying it, and you guys definitely should be also. So stick around, comicrelated.com. I'm going to try to get some content up next week, because right now I'm on a, believe it or not, I'm on a vacation from doing videos. So, yeah, so when my vacation is over, which will be probably this Friday, I'll be back to doing some stuff not only on Ink, but on Comic Related as well.
Speaking of the Superman month stuff, today should be live. Are some Superman themed photos courtesy of Captain Run 40er from Denver Comic Con.
Ooh.
Yeah. And also, real quick, don't want to take up too much time, but Derby City Comic Con is coming at the end of the month on June 29th, derbycitycomiccon.com. I am scheduled to be there, so if you want to come say hi.
I'm not. Unfortunately,
sadly, yeah.
I'm not. Nobody wanted me there, so I'm
We'll fly in. But I wish.
Am I staying with you?
Sure.
Yay!
But, yeah, there's actually a TV spot, a commercial, out for Derby City Comic Con in the local area, of course, but it is up on comicrelated.com. You can check it out, watch it there. Just a quick little spot about the convention. So, check that out, and it should be a really fun time.
And Wizard World, is coming to New York, which nobody really cares about, towards the end of June, but it is something to mention. I won't be there either, but I'm just mentioning it.
So with that, yeah, I guess that's it. So if you have any questions for us, any suggestions, you want to hear us talk about something, you want to give your feedback on anything that we talked about on the show, we would love to hear it. You can email either one of us, Brant at comicrelated.com or Chris at comicrelated.com. And, yeah, so please go to the Facebook page, vote in the poll. We want to hear from you.
Please.
Yes. So with that, we'd like to thank the official band of the Related Recap, the Yellow Belts. And, I guess that's going to wrap it. If it's comic related,
we'll leap it in a single bound.
There you go. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Gather around for the countdown sound. Well, I'd really like to hear a good promise from all the
Hey, Brent, I know that you're feeling the exact same way I did last week, only your predicament's a little bit different than mine, so I just want you to know I'm here to listen to you, man.
Oh man, thanks man. I appreciate that, man. I am so frustrated right now. It's getting to me. It's been eating at me and it's building up. The crew over in Dark Avenger Inc., man. You know, I've been off for some time, taking care of some personal business, whatever. And all of a sudden, they just taking my books. Don't care, don't ask, just reading my books, reviewing them, going on without me like I never existed, wasn't even ever there. And it's just, I'm telling you, I don't even know what to say, man. I just thought it was going to be different.
I told them, I tried to tell them, you know, Brant's coming back soon. You don't have to cover those books, you know. He's going to come back and he's going to do it. I mean, they just didn't listen.
Well, they need to start listening, man. Or we need to make them listen.
Oh, make them listen? Make them listen. That's a different ballpark you're pitching in there, Sunshine. So, what kind of, making did you have in mind?
You know what? We've been talking about this thing.
Yeah?
For weeks now. We've been formulating this and trying to work things out and trying to figure out, you know, just how to implement this thing.
Yeah, but that was on Comic Related.
Yeah, but what if it just wasn't Comic Related?
I'm listening.
What if we start on Dark Avenger Inc.?
That could be done. That could be done indeed. I have no objections. Let's do it.